Okay, let's try writing an exponential function now. So we're going to write an exponential function in the form y equals a times b to the x for a graph that includes 4, 8, and 632. So again, what this means is we've got some kind of graph. I just kind of drew it here. We know it's exponential, so it's kind of increasing like this. It goes through 4, 8, and 632. We want to find the form y equals a times b to the x. We want to find what is a and what is b. Remember, a indicates my initial value at x equals 0, and b indicates my growth or my decay factor. And I'm looking at the graph, it's probably going to be bigger than 1, looks like a growth factor. But let's go ahead and try this. So the way that we do this is you want to write two different equations using these guys. So 4, 8, remember this is my x and this is my y, this is my x, this is my y. So let me write this out. So y equals a times b to the x. So I'm going to plug in y. So 8 equals a times b to the x, 4. And I'll do the same thing here. So y equals, so 32 equals a times b to the x, which is 6. Okay, so I've got two equations, and I've got two variables, so I can actually solve these. I'll use substitution. We're going to use substitution just like we did with systems of equations. So let's go ahead and solve for a. That's easier because he doesn't have an exponent like this b. So let's isolate a. All right, let's isolate a. Okay, we're going to divide both sides by b to the fourth. So 8 over b to the fourth equals a. We've isolated it, and now we're going to substitute. Just like in substitution. So we got a equals 8 over b to the fourth. We're going to plug that in right here instead of a. Right? Since a equals this, anywhere I see a, I can write this instead. All right, let's write this equation. So 32 equals, instead of a, I'm going to write 8 over b to the fourth times b to the sixth. And now we're just going to solve for b. Okay, well, I've got b to the sixth over b to the fourth, so b over here, b, you cross them all off. Remember, you just subtract these exponents, and you're left with 32 equals 8b squared. Divide both sides by 8, so b squared equals 32 divided by 8, which is 4. And then we just square root both sides. We square root both sides, so b equals the square root of 4, which is 2. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in. Let's go back to our original equation where we solve for a. Let's plug that in. So a equals 8 over b, which is 2 to the fourth. Right, what is 2 to the fourth? That's 2, that's 16. So 8 over 16, or a equals 1 half. A equals 1 half. All right, so now let's just go ahead and put that all together. So our equation is going to be y equals a times b to the x. A times b to the x, and we have answered the question. We've written it. All right, let's try another one. Okay, let's try another one. So again, we've got y equals a times b to the x. So we've got our x and our y, so we just plug in 9 equals a times b to the x. And same over here, y equals a times b to the x, which is 4. We're going to solve for a, so we divide both sides by b squared. 9 over b squared equals a. Then I'm going to substitute in here. So 81 equals, instead of writing a, I'm going to write 9 over b squared times b to the fourth. So I have 81 equals 9. Remember, I have these two guys over each other. I can just subtract the exponents. 4 minus 2 gives me b squared. Solve for b. Divide by 9 on both sides. 81 divided by 9 gives me 9. 9 equals b squared. And then we just square root both sides, and b equals 3. B equals 3. Let's go ahead and plug that in right here. So a equals 9 over, we use 3 for this guy, 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So 9 over 9, a is 1. So our equation is going to be y equals ab to the x, so y equals 1 times 3 to the x, or just y equals 3 to the x. Pretty simple one there. Okay, this represents exponential growth. Let's try another one. Let's try, what if we had, letter C, the letters going through let's see, 2 and 1/3. Let's get some fractions going here. And 4 and 1/27. So same thing, we've got y, right? Y, which is 1/3. 1/3 equals a times b to the x. And over here, y equals a times b to the x. I don't know if you guys can hear the ice cream man in the background, but it's very nice. So we're going to divide both sides by b squared. So divide by b squared, let me just show you what's going on here. When you divide by b squared, you're going to get a equals, now what is this? Remember, when you're dividing by b squared, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So if you ever get confused, just think of 1/3 divided by b squared is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, or 1 over b squared. And what you can see is, even when you have this kind of weird, funky dividing by something else when you're already a fraction, that these guys are just going to kind of join together underneath. 1 over 3b squared. That's our a. Okay? So we go ahead and plug that in right there. So we get 1 over 27 equals 1 over 3b squared times b to the 4th. Okay, so we can see for the b's, 4 minus 2, we're going to get a b squared on the top in the numerator. B squared over, let's see, those guys went away, over 3. So 1 over 27. All right, so then we're going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of this. Multiply both sides by 3. So we're going to get b squared equals 3 over 27. 3 over 27, which is, if we divide numerator and denominator by 3, we get 1/9 equals b squared. Okay, so now I can just take the square root here. If I square root both sides, you can think of it taking the square root of this and square root of this. So b equals 1/3. B equals 1/3. Let's go ahead and plug that in right here. So b equals 1/3. So a equals 1 over 3 times 1/3 squared. All right, what happens first? Remember, we do the exponent first. So 1/3 squared is 1 squared over 3 squared. So that's 1/9. So 1 over 3 times 1/9. All right, so 3 times 1/9 is 3 over 9. So we're going to get 1 over 3 over 9. But remember, 1 divided by 3 over 9 is the same, division is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Sorry, let me go over here. So 1 divided by 3 over 9 is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So 1 times the reciprocal, 9 over 3, which we could reduce to being just 3 over 1. So we just get 1 times 3 over 1, which is just 3. So a equals 3. So thus we get y equals a times b to the x. Y equals a, which is 3, times b, which is 1/3 to the x. So in this case, we've got some exponential decay going on.